Squirrel.
Oh, squirrel.
Squirrel. Squirrel. I know you guys know the reference, but you guys haven't seen Up. You guys haven't seen Up. So welcome back, guys. We are very excited to see this movie. I know I really am. So Storm here.
Mom here.
Kimmy here.
And when we went to Disney World, God, it's been a while now. Like, what was it, a couple years ago now or something?
3 years.
God, has it been? What happens to the time?
Oh my God. Fast.
But we went to Animal Kingdom, and they had this whole section for Up. And I still haven't seen the show, but I was nervous that there were going to be spoilers because we're so like trained now with the channel to not spoil anything. So I'm like, you guys haven't seen Up yet? Or Mom wasn't there. Sorry, I wish you were, Mom. But like Kim, I was like,
I
you
was like,
can't see anything. Watch out. Like you might be spoiled by something that happens in the film.
And they had some kind of show that day or something, and you had to sign up for it. And like, no, we're not going to do that because we.
I know. So I didn't
seen it
do
yet.
anything because I'm sure maybe it would have been fine, but I didn't want to do that until you saw it. So the time is finally here. So thank you guys for always being patient. We watch a whole lot, but it does take time to catch up with all the requests that we get because we get a ton of requests, which thank you guys for loving us so much and actually wanting to see us react to things. And I got to say, I do love and enjoy almost every single thing we watch on the channel. I really look forward to Disney and Pixar movies and DreamWorks as well.
Yeah.
Like I love How to Train Your Dragon, but Disney, Lion King is definitely my favorite Disney movie. I just grew up with that.
Yeah, just once you start hearing the music and the intro, it's just
and the animation. I just love it. So beautiful and wholesome. And people make fun of it. I have friends that do. They not love Disney, but they like Disney, and they kind of eye roll because they're like, oh, it's so cheesy and stuff. But I really love the messages they send, and it's just beautiful. Like the animation's great. The character development is usually really good, and Zootopia I really like as well. There's a lot of them. I could just like. I love Peter Pan. That's a classic that I also really enjoy, as you know, because we saw that.
Beauty and the Beast.
Geeked about that. Yes, Beauty and the Beast, and we still have to see the newer one too. That's I think you guys would really like that. So Up. I started asking you guys during setup what you guys thought or kind of knew about it, and you mentioned, Kim, balloons in a house. You said there's
the house in the air.
The guy I remember on the as we were just running by Animal Kingdom.
Yes.
There's a cute dog.
Squirrel. And you guys might know that because I've had this for a while too.
Right,
yes, you have, and now we finally get to see it.
Yeah, very good.
I always joke and say that's my attention span. I'm like this little doggy. I think his name is Doug, but we'll find out. I don't think that's a major spoiler or anything because you won't know anything about that. And then we have Kevin. Who's Kevin? So, Kim, were you there that time where we saw that big bird walking around? Because I don't know if you were there that time, but in Animal Kingdom, I was so excited. I don't think you were. I probably was with Tom, and I got so excited because the Kevin costume / animatronic that they had walking around was so freaking awesome, and it was just like the character with a. We'll talk about it after, I guess, if I remember to talk about it. But big mouth and sounded just like him. Like, oh, it was just the funniest thing. So I was I'm easily amused, but I just love art and seeing that creature, even though I know it's a costume, but someone made that, and how creative to make it just like the movie. And I'm like, oh my God. It's like, don't give him chocolate. I'll stop talking because I can't spoil anything, guys. Come on. Ed Asner is in this.
Oh, good.
We like Ed Asner.
We do.
Yes,
Immediately, Kim was like, "Oh, from Elf, he was Santa Claus."
He was Santa. Yeah, I'm Mary Tyler Moore show. I know him from.
Yeah, that's so cool. I love it again because even though we have generation gaps, like it's so cool that you guys know things that I don't because I never saw Mary Tyler Moore. So it's kind of like
He was great in that.
That's awesome. I know like stuff that I always hear about, but I never watched and. Hence the channel. So that's
he's in some of the Hallmark movies too.
He's in a lot of stuff. Is he really?
One or two of them. Yes.
I think he was on X-Files a long time ago on a Christmas special or something. I think so. That sounds kind of familiar as well. And I'm sure you guys will let us know. But I think we should get into it and then we'll talk after. I'm really excited.
Let's do it.
Can't wait.
All right. Up.
What are you doing? Ah!
Oh.
Don't you know this is an exclusive club? Yeah, all right, you're in. Welcome aboard.
Oh, God.
What's wrong? Can't you talk? We're in a club now.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Oh boy.
No backing out.
Oh my goodness. Oh.
That would be so much fun.
Oh.
A lot of these.
Oh,
That's a great idea. Let's have a lot. It's mom and dad.
Yeah.
Are you in need of any assistance today, sir?
No,
Oh,
He's
what's your
cute.
badge?
Oh my god.
I'm doing fine.
Oh,
Oh, look at
he
it.
just wants to help.
Uh-oh, the
Oh
mailbox.
no. Oh god. Oh,
He didn't disconnect everything. Oh.
okay. Oh, he's going on a journey.
So pretty. Look at that. Whoa.
Oh,
my
that
god.
was the kid.
Oh my god. Whoa.
Please let me in.
Oh, poor child.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh,
No,
come on. He's up there in the air.
South America, you better let him in.
Oh, God. Whoa. Whoa. Wow. Oh, boy. Oh, no.
With this baby, we'll never be lost.
Oh, you just threw it out the window.
At least I know currently.
I guess. Oh.
Gotcha.
Wow.
Found the snipe.
Oh,
Pretty.
whoa.
He's my baby now. Oh, she's not.
Oh, look at that.
I
So,
see
yeah.
you back there.
So awesome.
That one looks like a dog. Oh!
Oh,
Oh, hello, speak.
Hi there.
Did that dog just
Oh, he's
say
talking.
hi there?
my
Oh,
God.
yes.
Bruh!
Oh, look at
Dog. Squirrel.
that. Well, that's what.
You too shall have much rewardings from Master for the toil factor you wage. Perhaps you desired squirrel!
A ball.
Oh, you want a ball?
I will get it and then bring it back.
Oh,
Hi.
oh my God. Oh my God.
Afternoon.
We're all back together.
That's for you.
Oh,
Oh, his face.
Ooh. Oh,
It's gonna make us the balls for you.
that's right.
Promise you won't leave him.
Yeah.
Cross your heart.
Cross your heart.
What?
Oh.
Oh. Oh my God.
Where's the bird? You said you had the bird.
They are our guests.
Put him in the cone of shame.
Oh,
Shame.
Oh, call it shame.
Excellent choice.
Oh, yeah, yes. Oh, yeah.
I didn't get it in there.
Oh, it's a pleasure to have guests. A real treat.
Uh-oh.
Treat, oh goodness, treat.
Oh, no.
Hey, that looks like Kevin.
Kevin, these people who pass through here, they all tell pretty good stories.
Oh.
They didn't have actual heads.
Oh, there's Kevin.
Nice. Say thanks.
That's
Oh,
great.
Oh my God.
Aw. Good job, Doug.
Stop, you dogs.
Let's see him go
Oh,
after
no,
him.
he's not. Oh.
Whoa!
Oh.
Russell, no.
Oh.
Oh, my.
Oh, he's actually
Oh,
falling.
Oh.
Oh, and the babies.
Oh.
Boy, they are dumb.
This is crazy.
You only do.
Look at that bird go. Straight up, you overgrown
Okay.
chicken.
Oh, my God, chicken.
Oh no, it's got
No.
Oh,
Kevin.
Kevin. Stuff more.
no.
Oh.
Don't
no.
do anything to the
Oh,
house.
my God.
Oh no.
Oh, come on. No.
Oh, it's gonna get worse.
And if you hadn't have shown up, none of this would have happened. Bad dog. Bad dog.
Oh,
Oh.
that's nice memories too.
Yeah.
It is.
It's important
Nice.
to take pictures and
She's
save
been
that.
telling the whole time.
Oh, see, thanks for the adventure. Now go
Yeah,
have a new
no,
one.
Oh.
See, that's closure.
I'm just going on his own adventure.
I'm gonna help Kevin, even if
Let's get this.
Snowblower.
Oh, wow.
Blower.
Ooh.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Hiding under your porch because I love you.
Oh, it's a...
You stay.
You are my master.
Oh, my gosh.
I wanted Doug too. The paint tail.
Oh god.
Doug was good.
Their mouths.
The bite at it.
Oh no.
That's pretty
This
messed
is a
up.
little kid.
He's one brave guy too.
Whoa. Oh, my God.
Who wants the ball?
Oh, oh.
Ah, nice.
Oh, wow. Throw it. Throw it. Yes.
Good throw. Oh God, Russell, be careful! Don't fall off.
Oh, no.
Ah.
Ooh. Ooh.
Hold on tight. Oh, the dogs!
Oh, my goodness. Oh, God. Oh, my God.
Why am I surprised? There's no
Oh,
other people
my
there.
God. Oh.
Oh my back. Oh, it ran.
Stalemate.
Come on, spit it out.
Terrible.
Oh,
Oh.
yes.
Ooh, oh, God.
Oh, it's a squeaky voice.
Oh, he's gonna go.
Who are you?
Oh,
Look at you.
Yeah,
You can do
I
it.
can't even do that.
You can do it.
Good job.
Squirrel.
Oh no! Don't die though.
Oh no. Oh, now you're
Oh,
really
it's a
getting
rifle.
No.
No.
Oh, no. Oh, ooh. Whoa.
Uh-huh.
Whoa.
A few balloons, maybe it'll slow him down.
Hi.
It's slowly going down though. Maybe you can figure something else out later.
Yeah.
It'll land perfectly where he wants it.
Oh.
Oh, look at the baby!
Oh, look at them. Aren't they cute? Oh, they're adorable. Oh.
Ooh.
Oh. Ah.
Oh,
Oh, look at.
his dad's not there.
Excuse me.
Come
Pardon
on,
me.
girl.
Old man coming through.
Oh, he came for him.
The highest honor I can bestow.
Even though he says it.
Okay.
Yelly.
Oh,
Oh, that is
That's
so
great.
cute.
Oh my God,
My
the
God,
flip
my
is there.
Oh, God.
How sweet. Way too cute.
Well, that was really great.
I really enjoyed that.
Me too.
Oh my God,
goodness, it
so
was
much talent.
great movie.
That's
Yeah.
great.
It was really wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I'll let it run in the background just in case that there is an ending credit scene, because we try to be good with that, but then sometimes I'll forget or we get so emotional and I'll pause the credits, and then there is an ending credit and we don't know it until we're done. And I'm like, oh, crud. So we have to do like an extra special on Patreon or something.
Yeah.
But what did you guys think of this
It
movie?
was a great movie.
It really was. The story was fantastic.
It sure was.
Beautiful.
You know, between Carl and Ellie, and
Ellie,
then
yes.
with Carl and Russell, it was
And
just
the paradise.
Oh.
Go to paradise. They finally got there.
Yeah,
got
sure
there.
did.
It was the journey. It was the most
It was a
important
journey,
about the
all
journey.
right. Yeah.
I love the emotion behind everything, and from the start, like how sad that was. There's no dialogue. I don't think there really was that much.
No, there
besides
wasn't.
Not much.
No,
Yeah,
we
like,
really
no.
didn't hear him.
Ellie, like, kind of
Yes.
talking with him in the beginning just to get to know her a little bit, and then
Yes.
the whole montage, we just have music and of them growing old together. There's no dialogue. It's just so beautifully done, and how sad is that?
Yeah,
It is.
so
You know,
sad,
she was the spark in his life. You know,
That's
he
right.
really needed her.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's right.
all those years they had a dream. Well, first of having children, and they couldn't have children. Then
Yeah,
the
that
dream
was
of going to
sad. Yeah.
paradise. They just never got there.
Yeah.
Many days later, changing ties over.
That's
many
right.
ties over.
I like how they showed
Never could get there.
the time lapse with the ties. Like, so much
That's
time
right,
has gone
yeah.
by, and we see them jump, get married, you know, and it's like, oh God, like they were
Uh-huh.
just kids, and now they're getting married. But
Time flies.
the way they did that was nice.
That was very nice. Yeah.
And I really thought I saw this whole movie, but I didn't. I roll, I'm sure, with you guys, because I'm like, oh, I saw it. Oh, maybe I didn't. But I really thought I did. I saw the beginning part of it, the whole montage in the beginning. And I remember I saw that, I believe, at New York Comic-Con. And they just wanted to show a little snippet in only the beginning, and everyone was crying in the room, I remember. But from what I recall, it was a little different from what this is, because it was before it came out or something. Anyways, like, everyone was just like so like crying, and we were all like, oh my God, this movie's so sad. It's the whole movie. And I thought I saw it in theaters, but I guess I didn't. So I just saw that part at the convention before it actually came out in theaters. And then I saw part of it probably on TV, but the whole ending, like, I didn't see. So I was like, oh God. So I got really engaged at the end there. But I love the animation always with Disney. I mean, they have different artists that do every single movie, but the style was fun in this one. The detailing was great. I loved Russell so much.
Russell
He
was
so
such a sweetheart.
adorable.
Oh my gosh.
I love his voice and
Oh,
just
he
like
does.
his
He's so
design and
his
how
up.
cute. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was
so
really positive. And he was like a
Yes,
normal boy.
That's
Yes,
right.
he
Yeah.
was. He just
good.
really wanted to
Good.
assist the elderly.
He did. And
That's right.
I'm glad he wasn't perfect, where when he's trekking along this terrain with the old man, like, he starts complaining and whining.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
that's
terrible.
such
you know?
a typical
Yeah.
kid to do that.
And it doesn't
you know?
mean you're bad. You're just normal.
No,
and
that's
he's never
normal,
experienced
yeah.
anything like that. Both of them haven't. But he's a young kid, and he's not familiar with the outdoors so much. So as much as you were like, oh, wait, what? But they both needed each other, and that was amazing.
Oh, yeah,
I
that's
like
right.
that.
Definitely. I think Carl needed Russell more than he thought.
Definitely, yes,
You know,
I
and
think
Yeah.
so.
especially when they left after Carl found out that his idol was still alive and still looking for this bird. I mean,
Yes.
Carl was just like in awe.
Yeah.
And after he found out that, you know, Charles was just going to kill him, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty
That's right.
dark,
That-
honestly.
That was really dark.
That
He was going to
when
kill
he
anyone in
was
his
like-
way, even
That's
with
when
the
he
helmets.
realized they were his family.
hmm
Oh, wow.
I really
Yeah.
liked it. It was a fun adventure, and as sad as it was motivation for Carl to go where he needed to go to make peace. I love how he saw the book. He was looking over it again, and he missed a few pages after.
Yes.
And
yes,
she's
that,
like,
yeah.
I had a great adventure. Now start a new one. So that was closure right there. I
Yes.
felt
Yes,
like.
and giving
Yes,
and like giving him permission to go forward. Go.
So thank God she
Definitely.
wrote
Oh,
that.
wow.
I kind of think she wrote that after, like, right before she passed away. Like, maybe
Yes.
she knew her time was up because she was getting sick. She couldn't
maybe,
climb the
yeah.
hill. I thought it was cancer or something. For some reason, when I saw the beginning, I really thought she was diagnosed with cancer and then she died young or something. But no, she grew old. So I hope she wrote that towards the end, knowing that she had to say something to him so he'd move on.
Yes, because she was always the motivator.
She was.
All through the relationship.
I love
she
that,
was
the
the
balance.
motivator.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I liked Kevin too.
I gotta say, I was saying I love Russell, but Kevin, man, like, he is my favorite too. Like, character-wise or just creature-wise, so funny. I was tearing up the entire time. Even now I'm thinking of him, I'm tearing up. But I gotta say one thing too. From the intro, I felt really bad because, again, I assumed I saw the whole thing, and I didn't remember the story so much. I just remembered the balloons with the house and going to a location, and then he met Doug and this bird. I didn't realize the bird was a mystery bird, and I'm like, oh crap, I already told you guys that, oh yeah, it was this bird, and, you know, I saw it at Disney World, but I don't think it ruined it for you guys. You guys were just surprised and wondering, so hopefully I didn't really get too literal with that, but
and I love Doug too.
Yeah, and Doug was really sweet. Kevin, I just love the humor with Kevin because he's like this manic bird. Love the animation on that where he's kind of like a pigeon where he's like twitching his head a lot and you see the crazy eye looking at you.
He likes chocolate.
He does, and he's like so friendly, and he hisses though when he gets upset, so it's like freaky. Oh yeah, so he always hisses at Carl.
Hissing at Carl.
All the time, like,
and then the babies were doing one of the babies doing.
And it's not a he, it's a she.
Yes, and they kept the name Kevin, so I love that too. Because again, I have a friend who named her daughters after like boy names, but you can change them up, and I love that idea. So even though they named him Kevin, not knowing Kevin was a mom, like they kept the name, so that was kind of neat too. Yeah. But I love Kevin's animation. I love his style, how pretty he was with the little like wings.
Yeah, that's right.
That was so great. But he was so humorous with Russell, and I just love how loving and how much he bonded with him. Like right away, he was so friendly and silly.
Instantly, just motherly to him.
And hugging him, just using his neck and his head, or her head, to like really snuggle and show that I'm a friendly bird, but hiss just so you know that you're a jerk. And Doug, yes, Mom, like I love Doug so much. We're all dog lovers here. We grew up with dogs, and right now I don't have a dog, but I have cats, but I'm still a huge dog person, and it was so adorable, and I'm sure a lot of dog owners.
It was so true too, how they are.
The squirrel.
Oh, it's right.
And dogs are smart. A lot of them can be very smart, but
yes, they are.
Not we. I'm saying it like all together, but they can get excited, and they're very attentive when it comes to squirrels. I have experience with that too. Squirrel.
My dog loves rabbits.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And they're so fast too. Like they react so quickly to animals. So I love how squirrels are always the thing because they're always around. Everyone's seen a squirrel, I'm sure. And dogs always see them outside, and they're fast and small and fun to chase. And
I actually thought a squirrel was going to be more involved in this. I thought he was going to be in the house with them.
Yeah, because you guys don't know the reference. This is the first time watching.
That's what you
thought. So I thought he was going to be more of a character.
Squirrel.
Squirrel.
And then we have Kevin hiding behind the rock. That scene where Carl's yelling at the bird. He's like, "Why are you still here?" Something. The bird goes, "Oh!" And then he just runs behind that tall like structure, like that rock structure.
Yes,
and then he's so fat, and then not fat, he's like a big bodied bird. And then his little wings go pink, like it's a totem pole. Like that kills me. And that scene it was so simple and just funny. Like it was just so witty. I was just like, this is great.
Oh my
God.
He made the simple things like Carl's cane was always a thing.
That's right.
So many things, help him get on the hose, get to the blimp.
That's right.
There's just so many things with the tennis balls, and that's true.
And throw the tennis balls at
I thought you would appreciate this too, Kim, because she used to work and still does now and again at the nursing home, and you're always very good because all the COVID stuff
never
in the
use
past.
their canes.
Yeah. So you are very overly
with his walker on his shoulders and comes out to me. He goes, "Hey, you got a phone number I can have?"
I can relate to that.
And even Dad,
and
that's hard too because Dad is such a strong individual that. Even though he did well, and he learned over time, we can't even imagine doing that. Like, we see people, but until it happens to you, But he was always a manly man, and to now have to have a walker and all that, he's
Very
stubborn
hard.
and he doesn't want to use it, and I can understand that, but it's
gets
dangerous
aggravated.
not to because he's not
Right,
stable.
and sometimes you do forget. Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It's like
So I love how they had all those references with Carl, but it was still amazing because, again, it's a cartoon and not demeaning that at all because I love animations, especially Disney and Pixar. It was cool to see like how agile he was. Like he was still a strong person.
Oh,
He could
yes.
still hold a house and just like
Well,
drag it around with him.
That's right.
And
Jump
climbing
around.
up.
Yeah,
Yes,
climbing up
whoa.
and just holding on and just dragging a house floating
Yeah.
around. So just to put a pin in that, I will say that, as you all know, it's very obvious. I love the imagination because balloons carrying a house is impossible. And I think that was on Mythbusters that can't happen, or
Yes,
something.
right,
It was on
yes,
something.
yeah.
But you would have to you can have a hot air balloon, but that's a different kind of thing with fire
right.
and all that. But I love the idea of it, though, and how creative to go through the chimney. And you have all these disasters happen,
Yeah,
but most of the
that's right, yeah.
balloons are, still okay. But we do see a lot disappear, pop over time when like the storm happened.
right. Thanks to
He's cutting
Kevin.
some
That's
up,
right,
and
for sure,
Kevin,
yes.
yeah. But it was neat how the balloons lasted all the way through the movie. I thought right when they got there and they were dragging the house along that all the balloons were gonna like pop, and then they would have to.
Yeah, it was gonna be like,
something
oh,
else.
perfect timing kind of thing.
Yeah,
That's right, yeah.
I thought like the house would land somewhere in the jungle, and then he would have to learn that way. It's just a house with things going on with them trying to escape and save Kevin. And then once the dogs befriended them, this was my assumption. I was like, the dogs are going to help carry that house up there because they have so many dogs that they
Yes.
fly planes for crying out loud. I'm like, they can carry a house.
Oh
over.
yeah, they can totally do that.
And I love that too. So not only do you have a house that flies or floats with a bunch of balloons, but you have dogs with talking collars, but they're
That's
very
right,
smart
that
dogs.
is
Not
something,
only
yeah.
can they piece words together, but they're smart. They think, they can discuss and have conversations. They understand what their master is saying. It's not just commands. They know discussions.
yeah.
And stuff.
Yes.
And Disney does it a lot with their characters, but they made the dogs more realistic in a way where they don't just openly talk with their mouths or growling. They're they're like barking and stuff, but
right.
their collars are translating that into English.
Yes.
So you have that, and then we have the planes, and the dogs are biting the squeaky toys to shoot
Oh
the
my
was
darts.
right.
That's right, yeah. Oh,
So
God.
it wasn't just the balloons; it was all this crazy, like out there animation that was wonderfully done. I love that because it really brings out the imagination in kids, and I think it's fun for adults because
Oh, sure.
Yes.
we're
I like.
adults, you
yes.
like it.
I did like. I mean, the villain in this was Carl's idol,
Mhm.
That's
and
right.
now he's got to be 20 years older than Carl.
I was thinking that
Oh,
too,
yeah,
and he
yeah.
was
Right?
even strong and moving
was
around
That's
like
well.
right. I
Kurt
was
Russell.
wondering. Goodness.
Not Kurt Russell, Kurt Douglas.
Mhm.
Douglas. He
Didn't
reminded
he?
me so much of
Yeah,
Kurt
he
Douglas.
did
When I
actually.
first saw it, I said, boy, oh boy, that's Kurt Douglas.
But I loved his villain character because even though he was a main focus, it was more about Carl learning about family because he couldn't have his own child.
Right.
So Russell kind of
Yeah.
became his son. And now he has his own dog, and so he still has a family life. Not that he's
Yes.
forgetting Ellie.
Yeah.
And when we
Oh,
re-looked at the scrapbook, we saw that Ellie loved. She had a dog in her life. She had birds.
That's right, yes.
And then it was almost like embracing, yes, this is your family. It is okay.
Yeah, that's a good
I really
point,
didn't
too.
notice
That's
that the
good.
first
It
time
was-
we looked through the scrapbook,
Yeah.
and then the second time it was really more of a focus. They stayed on it a little longer.
Yeah, you're right. So that's probably
okay,
why, because
yeah.
we were introduced
So
to these
it was
other
almost
characters,
like
and
it's
he's learning.
okay.
Oh, yeah, that's
oh,
so
that's so
true.
good. Yeah.
Man, and it really had that old feel too when it came to his idol, and he has this big blimp, and it just
Oh,
gave me
yes,
like not an
definitely,
Indiana
yes.
Jones feel because they didn't have a blimp in that, but it just had that old school
Yeah.
retro feel to it a little bit.
Definitely.
I don't know,
Right,
so I
definitely,
really like
yeah,
that
definitely.
too. And just all the dogs that he had, again, like anytime
Oh
you
my
bring
gosh,
pets,
yes.
animals into things, like it's easy to relate for a lot of people. And how
Definitely.
evil they were, but they were actually just loyal and very good. And once they had a different leader, a different alpha like Doug, then things changed and they were
Yes.
happy, normal puppies.
Yeah, and
you know?
he was just so stubborn. He knew he was right. There was an exotic bird on there, and on that island, he was not going to leave.
Yeah. He was
right,
so
yeah.
obsessed.
That's right.
So I really did like his character because, again, like he wasn't like a main focus, but he had a mission and that was his drive, and he was paranoid
and he
because
hurt a lot of people.
Right,
or
okay,
killed
he
them.
did, and
Yeah.
that was really dark too because
was.
it's one thing showing heads, but you don't even have to do that in this case because, again, you don't want to change the rating because it's a kids movie, but. You know, you see, he has like actual mannequin heads, like
Yes.
whoa, these are the people I kill. Like, what else would he use them for trophies?
And he was shooting at Russell too.
Yeah.
That's
So
right.
he
And he
was
let Russell
any
go. When
Yes.
he's tied up, just let him off the.
Oh my God.
To
Yeah,
die.
That's right. Wow.
Oh yeah, when he opened up the trap door kind of
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
He thought he was just going to let him go.
Wow.
And thank
Yeah,
God
so he was
Carl
really
there.
dark in that way.
Yeah,
but
that was
the head
dark.
thing, when he was just knocking over the mannequin
Yeah.
heads with the actual hats on and goggles and,
Uh-huh.
talking about each one. Well, this one did this, but they were actually, or maybe they weren't. Maybe he was just that paranoid because he was selfish.
Well,
he
maybe
wanted
they
that
were
bird.
exploring.
It
and
could have
he
been.
Yeah.
I mean, they had the gear and stuff, so maybe. And then they were just the unlucky people who just happened to, I mean, in a good way, though, because they saved Kevin. But they found Kevin, and it was all a misunderstanding. Although they wanted to protect him, they weren't trying to steal his glory for it. But yeah, so it just makes him look even more psychotic, where he's like, oh, well, this guy did this, and this guy said this, and now, you with your house, trying to go into paradise. I don't believe that, but wow, yeah. So that was like, this is so freaky.
Yeah, I
This is
wonder
not
what your
good.
end story is going to be.
Oh, boy.
And I love the voices of the dogs because that's great for kids. Because
that
we have
was-
this, I think it's a Doberman Pinscher or
Yes.
something,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I see
And
Doberman Pinscher.
I know a lot of people judge certain species, which I get, like certain breeds, I should say.
And they had a Rottie there.
Yeah, because we know
Boxer.
people who have Rottweilers, and I hear they have a bad rep too. But we know a lot of friendly ones, and upbringing as well
definitely.
helps. But yes, it can be inside their DNA as well, where like pit bulls and stuff like
That's
to really bite, and they can get nasty. But I know a lot of friendly pit bulls too.
Yeah, and also it can be the owners too.
It could be the owners. There's
Yes.
always a mix.
Yeah.
But here we have this Doberman Pinscher who is really evil looking on purpose, and they gave him red eyes, but then he had a cute high pitched voice that made no sense. So
Oh,
that's
that
great
was-
for kids to break the ice and be like, oh, it's
Yes,
funny,
that's right.
it's
Yeah.
okay. But
Yeah.
then it brought back that humor, but then it was like, oh God, like demonic voice. I love that.
Yeah,
but it
that
didn't
was
last
really-
long until he
Yeah.
went back to his like silly voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But very well done.
The
I
collar,
really enjoyed
until he
this.
got the collar of shame.
The collar of shame. You can tell when I haven't seen something because I start guessing what's going to happen. I just go on autopilot, and if I see something, I'm quieter, where I try not to say because I never want to spoil anything for you. Again, I think this is the first time I actually dropped the ball telling you guys about something that was kind of big, like Kevin. And I know you guys don't
That's
mind.
okay, but
I'm
once we
like,
saw the tracks, we knew it was a bird.
Yes.
Yeah,
Very
yeah. But now when, I won't say if, when we go to Disney World, of course we're going to see Tom, our brother, because he lives around there. And since the pandemic, that's when he moved into his house. So we haven't been to see his house yet. Yeah, so hopefully sometime soon. But anyways, like if we go to Disney World together, which he loves.
Now we can dive in there.
Yes.
We got to check out, we got to check out the show for Up. And they have that Kevin bird walking around, and it's the freaking coolest thing. Like that, I'm a
We'll put it
little
on
kid. I was
Instagram.
like, this is
That's
the coolest
good.
design. Look, and it looked just like him. And it was like, bah, or her. And just like, bah, bah, and just the hissing. And,
Yeah.
so it's someone in the suit. I don't know if that person's on stilts because I remember it being very tall, just body-wise. So I don't know if there were stilts in the legs, and then there's a person just in the big bulk of the body, and then it had an extension to look and be in proportion with the actual character. So there was an extension that was animatronic that would move around, and it was like a puppet too, because it was so like just
my
fluid and how it would move, and he would look at you and he would come down with his head just like the movie and be like,
Oh
with
my
the big eyes,
goodness. Yeah.
and he would go, ah, and he was just like with a big mouth. So enjoyable. And I was just like, Kevin, I don't have chocolate. And then the owner came over, the person watching him was like, no, he can't have chocolate. And he's like, no.
That's cute.
For the kids, I'm sure that's why
Yeah.
they say that, But very good movie. Please let us
That's
know what
really
you guys
good.
thought
That's
of
really
this.
wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to
It's
think, like,
awesome.
there were so many good moments in it. I love adventure movies, and I like how they show a lot of different, like, terrains and different outcomes where, here, like, he was going on an adventure, paradise, we're seeing a floating house, and we get to see the landscape a little bit. They're in danger. They meet dogs. Like, oh, crud, like, look at this evil lair with a bunch of dogs. So there's always something new that we're introduced to. That was a lot of fun. It
Yes.
wasn't just like a basic focus on one thing. It was just
That's
a lot of
right.
things
It was
going
like a lot
on.
of things going
So
on.
that was a fun adventure.
And the friendship at the end was just,
Oh, that was good.
it was glorious. I
Oh,
mean,
wow.
that's going to be a friendship forever.
Yeah.
Oh,
And that's one
sure.
thing I want to say too, where we know Carl's backstory now, but when you think about it, again, everyone has a story. That's like one of my favorite things to say, because you can't judge a book by its cover. You never know what that person went through. And it doesn't make it okay when people act a certain way, if they're rude or if they're nasty in a certain way to certain people or anyone. But like, if we didn't see his backstory, we would be like, oh, wow, what a cranky old man. What's his problem? You know? But he is actually a really good guy.
And that's how
but
the construction
That's right,
guys
yes.
were treating him.
Yeah.
Especially
That's
because
right,
they
yeah.
wanted
Man.
that property.
Definitely, yeah.
Or even the people, the helpers who went over there that were going to take him to the home, and
Yeah.
they're like, oh, maybe he just has a pee again, blah, 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 the 80th
Yeah.
time, and kind of making fun of him. So they're judging him because he's old and because he's cranky. And people have lives. Like, they can have
I mean, the
really
guy's been
Nice
in there,
lives.
lived there for decades.
And
And he
He
was
wants to
so
say
in
goodbye
love.
and look
Oh, yeah.
at every room. I mean, that was your home for
Yeah.
how many years?
Yeah. And no matter who you are, yeah, it's like if you have attachments like that. But he really loved. He wasn't like by himself all his life, because immediately I would think just shallow. Not that I am shallow, but just thinking just normal, I guess. Where when you have an old person who's super cranky, it's like, man, how did anyone ever live with this guy? Was he always alone? Like, you think certain things like that, like, man, how could anyone marry this guy? But no, he was really in love. He really had a very good life. I mean, sad things happened to him where they couldn't have kids, and then they never
That's right, yeah.
made it to
And-
paradise. But
And that was his home. And on his point of view, you know, everyone's building around him. This was his home, a nice peaceful area. And then all of a sudden, you know, construction comes and it's uprooting him. So I would be
right.
cranky too, but
absolutely, like he had
Oh my
every
gosh.
reason, you know. So it just shows you that everyone again has a story, that you can't judge because
right.
that person's grumpy or something, that they're a bad person, that bad things could have happened to them, and that's why they are like that. You know,
That's
so
right.
I'm glad he was able to keep his house though and bring it over instead of that getting
yeah,
demolished.
instead of
That's right,
just
yeah.
giving it to the nursing home.
That's right.
Yeah.
'Cause that's
So
what happened.
please let us know what you guys thought of this movie. I thought it was wonderful. I
It was
really thought I was going to
wonderful,
cry
yeah.
more because it was very. I think you guys were tearing up too, but I,
Yeah,
you know,
a little
I
bit,
did
yeah.
feel it. But sometimes it hits me,
Yeah.
sometimes it
I
doesn't
bet,
as
yeah.
much. But this was very emotional.
Yeah.
Just the
It was
beginning.
beautiful. She was-
The beginning, yeah.
I
Ellie
wonder
was
how kids
just-
took this.
Oh, I know.
the beginning only.
Yeah.
You know,
But
like I love that
good
story
for,
though.
Like
It's
that.
good for children to see how their grandparent, you know, just try to think of how your grandparents were when they were younger too. Because kids don't think, oh, you were young.
Yeah,
I
you
know,
were-
they
yeah,
just see
You know,
it
they're
now.
like,
like
oh,
that.
is it-" you know, they don't. Yeah, so it's
They
good.
don't.
It's always good to learn about your family history and to know your elders because they have a lot of good stories. Hopefully,
Yeah.
Nothing
A lot
too
of fun
terrible.
stories.
That's
A lot of
like
fun. Nah, not that one though. But no, it's always really good to know because you could probably learn something from that too, or just have a closer bond.
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Yes,
You know,
talk
grandma,
to your
grandpa,
elders. Get some
parents.
good stories.
Oh, God, yeah.
Write them
Again,
down.
we live in a day, or we live in an age now where, you know, people, you know, technology is always there, and we just take advantage of it, and we don't have that personal, you know,
Connection.
bond or connection anymore. I mean, we do, but we don't.
We do, but yeah.
Because I remember growing up, it was so different. Like nowadays, like we're just more removed. We're still close, but it's like mainly texting and stuff. But
Yes.
it's important to actually talk, hang out, and get to know
That's
each
right.
other again. So, anyways, just to
Definitely
say, guys, you
important.
should do
Yes.
that. Family's important, and friends are important. So,
That's right. Like mom, she's
Right.
got so much in her.
mhm.
So many life experiences.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
yeah, teach us stuff. No, you always
many,
have.
many,
though.
many, many
And Dad too.
years.
Dad always has stories.
Oh, Dad has stories.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah,
and
he has
sometimes
a
though,
story.
as much as we love them, they take forever. So sometimes
Oh,
you're like, oh
Dad,
boy,
yes.
you can kind of tell when it's going to be a long
Okay,
story.
what chapter is
Like,
this?
yeah, like many hours later, it's like, okay,
That's
Dad,
right.
sorry, I gotta get going.
To the point.
You know, it is good to take time and
Yeah,
listen. That's
right.
always a good thing.
Oh,
So
my God.
Always.
Squirrel.
Cheers.
Yeah.
We love it. We loved
Yeah,
it.
see that?
it was so good.
Oh,
Squirrel. I love my
squirrel,
cup. So if
squirrel.
you guys are going to ask where I got this, I actually got this in Disney World. I forget
cool.
what park I got it in, but it's really nice. And I'm sure they
That's
sell it in a
cute.
lot of different parks there, but squirrel.
Squirrel.
So
That's
thank you
true.
guys so much for watching. I hope you have a good day. Please subscribe, and we'll
Yes,
see
go
you very
up.
soon
Yes,
as always.
please.
Up,
Subscribe.
guys.
Yes.
Please subscribe. Wherever that button is.
Yay, up. Go up.